Is this Lee Camps playing music? Are you
I'm not playing that. That's not me.
Did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it.
What was that? Oh my God.
I haven't hacked your head just yet, Graham.
Wow. That was fantastic. It was this really nice, soft, slow, sweet music.
It was perfect for our show.
It really was like this. That's well, if we want a theme song, now we have it. It's got to be something like do like that. I was like, yeah. This is hilarious.
Yeah, it's to help the painful medicine go down. Enjoy this music.
Yes. That's what we're going to play for our live show.
Like a waiting room when you're headed in for a root canal.
Yeah, just like a fountain's playing and it's really and you know, there's like low lighting. There's one of those like crystal lights and the receptionist is like, "Hi, Mr. Camp. Okay, yeah, just have a seat. Do you need any water or anything like that before we gut your mouth?"
It's kind of like how you said you were hoping we got some new listeners who are big fans of America, and you kind of left out the part of so that we can gut your soul, so that we can take an ice cream scoop to your soul, and you know, because sometimes when you've done it to people who already get it, it's not as much a scoop.
No, their soul's already been pretty much eroding for several years or decades.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is the music where we should play for new fans of the show. Doo-doo boo boo boo, government secrets. Doo-doo boo boo boo. If there's any musicians out there listening, send us this theme song.
Today's highlight will be rape and genocide. Settle in, folks.
Settle in. Make yourself a hot cup of chamomile tea. Maybe have an oatmeal cookie or something sweet and fun because you're going to learn how America could have been great but was awful, right? Was born in genocide and slavery.
Maybe we've been missing out. Maybe this whole show should be done in the Bob Ross voice. Maybe it really should. And then we'll just put in a little rape right there in the corner. You know, like it'll be our little secret, just a little rape. And down here, how about some smallpox blankets? We'll just sneak them in down here.
Just an illegal coup orange, just a little hint of illegal coup orange. And then we're going to crush we're going to assassinate an anti-war president. There we go. Just a hint of assassinating an anti-war president. I think we should do that. And like, you should talk like Bob Ross and I'll talk like Mr. Rogers. And we'll just be like, it's a neighborly day in this empire, genocidal slavery, rooted in blood, pain and misery. We're going to ruin your face. Like, that's what it should be. That's what it should be.
Oh, is that the king? Shall we bring him down here and chop him off at the neck?
Oh,
shall we behead the monarchy because they've made all of their money and wealth on the backs of people that have been heavily exploited and just had their lives destroyed? I think we should.
Maybe that is how we like sow the seeds of a socialist revolution, is in like Fred Rogers' voice. Hey, boys and girls, now we're going to find the oligarchs and string them up. It's a neighborly day for a revolution. You know, like...
I'm down if you're down.
Oh, well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Government Secrets. Finally, the real episode 50.
I know we've said the date on the show, but I don't know if we've told people the ticket link is up for LA.
Ticket link is up for the Los Angeles first ever GovSeeks live show, ladies and gentlemen, at the Dynasty Typewriter in Los Angeles, September 18th, 3 o'clock. It's an afternoon show because at night, this is too much to swallow at night. This has to be, it's just too much
to take. Yeah. But we will be drunk. Don't get us wrong. I will be. I know you don't drink. You'll be high on something else you've snorted, but I just want you to know, just because it's an afternoon show does not mean you can't be drunk out there. I think you all should. But
you're seeing the two versions. I will go surfing. That's how I deal with doing the show. Lee drinks, and those the choices you have. of how to deal with this show and the
I
world.
mean, whatever chemicals are in your green smoothies you're snorting, I don't know what that does to your head, but
I take surf wax and I ball it up and then I put it in a pipe and I smoke it. That's what
There
I
you
do.
go.
That's how I smoke surf wax.
that'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it. But so yeah, they can get. I think it'll be up on my site soon, but it's they should get them on your site for now.
Right now, go to GrahamElwood.com and it's September 18th. Government Secrets Live. It is our first ever live show. Currently, our only live show. We're kind of running into some roadblocks in the New York area, sadly, but you never know.
Never know.
Who knows?
Never know. We might just do it in a subway station.
Yeah, we might just like street performers.
Yeah, street performer podcast
with a bucket out.
Little bucket.
We might make more money.
For $1, we'll tell you how horrible our government is.
Put a $5 in there. We'll play Operation Bingo. We'll just type in an operation and talk about it. So, but join us, folks, in the Los Angeles area, September 18th. It'll be fantastic. Dynasty Typewriter, first of all, is a cool independent-owned theater by my friend Jamie and Vanessa. I've known them. They've really supported alternative independent comedy and given comedians in Los Angeles a place to perform that isn't just one of the big clubs. Not, so it's a cool space. So you're supporting a cool business. It's an independent, they're a small business and they barely made it through the pandemic. So the ticket price isn't just for vodka and vegan protein powder. It also goes to support a small business.
And I'd say there's a solid 85-90% chance that both of us will be there. like 85%.
Yeah, I think we'll both be there. 85%. That's probably, if we're going to do a live show, it's probably good if we're both there. I don't know. That's just me.
Graham might be surfing. I might forget to get on the plane, but
just look. Oh shit! Was that today? Like,
today?
Is that's someone's? One of us is going to send that text to the other guy.
Yeah.
Oh shit! I thought you meant this 18th. Oh fuck! I thought you meant September 18, 22. Oh damn it. Well, should we do the longer GovSeek or the bigger GovSeek or the shorter one first? What do you want to do?
Let's go with military spending first, because I think we can. The second one is fairly short. We can squeeze it in if we need to.
So I just went to. I just type in the biggest wastes of military money, and this article came up. And we've talked about, both of us have talked about military funding, and I think, but in honor of the democratically controlled Senate, who just gave Joe Biden a $25 billion increase for his war budget last week,
on top of the increase he was already asking for.
Right, on top of the increase he was already asking for, on top of a bloated $743 billion budget that now we outspend, I think, the next 10 countries, but it might be higher. It might be 15 or something like that now.
Yeah. I mean, last I saw it was around 10, but either way. And then the other thing is, like, it's, if you take the bottom countries on the list of military expenditure, it's like the same as like 140 other countries.
Yes. 100. So China, the country that spends the second most, if we were to cut our military budget in half, that's before this $25 billion increase, the $743 billion. If we were to cut that in half, okay, that is $370 billion, right? It's just under, that would still be almost $200 billion more than what China is spending.
And if you count our black budgets, like secret shit we're involved in, it's closer to $1 trillion a year.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, well, the CIA's budget is off the books. We don't even know what they get. They just get whatever they want. Right. And yet we can't get Medicare for all. And there was rallies in 20 some cities this past weekend, which was really cool. Did you go to one?
Yes, I spoke at one, and it was they said the final count was over 50 U.S. cities.
50 U.S. cities.
Oh.
Yeah, I was at one and I interviewed a bunch of people and it was really cool what they said. And, we were on a street corner and people were honking and it's very supportive. One pickup truck, two younger white guys drove by and went, Trump.
I mean, that's a rational response when someone says, I'd like healthcare.
Right.
Rational. Yeah.
Right. Like get offended at that and yell Trump. Like, so I wish they would have stopped because I would have been like, so you guys are okay with like 30 to 40,000 people dying every year because they don't have healthcare.
And I'm pretty certain their response would be Trump.
Right. Just like we spend all this money on war, but we don't have money to take care of our own citizens. Trump. Like that's their, okay. So yeah, so we can't get Medicare for all, that we had to have marches in 50 cities, which is really cool. And it's cool the people that all put this together and got involved and made this, it started out as like 2 or 3 cities and now there was 50, which is fantastic. It's weird. A lot of indie media was there covering it. I was there. All these people were in, Ron and Jimmy, and I didn't see TYT anywhere.
Yeah, I didn't see them at ours, and I didn't see any of the mainstream media. I don't think either. I think I saw Anderson Cooper sprinting away from it, but no, I didn't see any mainstream media. It's almost like TYT and the mainstream media are doing the same thing.
Weird. What a wacky coincidence that TYT and corporate media were not covering a 50-city rally.
Crazy.
Interesting.
I mean, I assume it was just like it's just slip up, intern missed something.
Well, I think there's probably I think actually they were getting ready because either yesterday or in the next couple of days, there's a big celebrity camel toe event that they're going to cover. So they really had to prepare for that. It's like
it takes a lot to gear up for that,
Yeah, TYT's it's basically like Burning Man, but it's TYT's celebrity camel toe.
Which often also burning, but for different reasons.
Different thing. So totally different thing. They're a great news organization. So So this brings us back to the biggest military wastes of money, ladies and gentlemen. Number one, and this is my favorite one because I've talked about it before, but it's the good people at Lockheed Martin coming up with the F-35 Lightning II. This took $1.5 trillion.
It's fucking insane.
Just to develop. Quick little sidebar, by the way, $1.5 trillion would forgive all student debt. So, which would infuse a bunch of money back into the economy. You'd have a bunch of young people or people, some, even 30s, 40s and up, wouldn't have to pay off student loans. They could, 85% of the loans are federal. So the government could just say, you don't have to pay us back. The ones that are through banks, the federal government could spend that money and give them the money. So the banks would be made whole. And people who don't have to make student debt payments every month, that money would go back into the economy, like what they have in Europe, because college and everything is like mostly free in all those countries. So that's why people have a better quality of life.
Another side note, if you want to envision, I know we're talking about 1.5 trillion for the F-35. If people want to envision this number as to how much it is, because it is tough to wrap your head around it. If you make $40,000 a year, it would take you 25 million years to make $1 trillion. So get to work.
Oh.
So if you're thinking of purchasing an F-35, and there are a lot of ads on like CNN for Raytheon and stuff. If you're thinking of purchasing an F-35, you should get working because it's going to be a couple of years.
25,000 years, you said?
Million.
25 million years.
It would take you 25 million years to make $1 trillion.
Well, that's what I like is the American work ethic. You know what I mean? The bootstrap, pull yourself up and go get yourself an F-35. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's totally real. And that's why, maybe if you're only making 40 grand, get a side hustle for Grubhub or put your car on Turo or something.
Yeah, you could probably get that down to like 25 million years. 22 million years. Pretty easy, I think.
Yeah.
You throw in
if
the
you hustled, if you put a little elbow grease into it, you get that out of 22 million years.
Yeah. And if you're like you do the Lyft or the Uber, and if you're flirty or nice to the passengers, often you'll get a little bit higher tip. You get that down to 21 million years easy.
Easy. And you may put little bottled waters in the back of the Uber, maybe car chargers. You get that down to 20 million years. So now we're already down to 20 million years. So like that's nothing. That's a walk in the park.
No. Yeah. I mean, yeah, the second half of that, after the first 10 million years, it just goes by like a pretty quick because you know your way around the office, you know what cool lunch spots are nearby. It goes by pretty quick.
Right. That's what I like about it.
Yeah.
20 million years is nothing. The Joint Strike Fighter program was meant to produce a fighter that the Air Force, Marines, and Navy could all use. A fast, stealthy plane that could take off from anywhere, land on anything, and deploy almost any weapon, except common sense. Indeed, it became a black hole of technical problems, delays, technology that was obsolete before being deployed, and above all, money. It's been estimated that the F-35 has cost a staggering $1.5 trillion since its inception in 1996. They've been working on this stupid thing for, 25 years?
And they have kind of, in a backdoor kind of way, admitted that they're moving on from it. Because they're still going to make it, and they're still going to the government's still going to buy a certain number, but the military, the Pentagon, has asked for different kinds of fighter jets, basically without saying, hey, the F-35 isn't going to actually do what we need. We're going to quietly ask for other kinds of fighter jets.
Oh, boy. Anybody affected in America by the opioid epidemic? You feel all right with this F-35? Anybody who's had their family or community destroyed by the opioid epidemic? You happy that 1.5 trillion has basically been thrown into a ditch and set on fire? Boy, that's
when
great.
Families could be paid, when rehab programs could be across the country, et cetera, et cetera.
We could basically just stop these, rather than give them fines, like Purdue Pharmaceutical got hit with a $500 million fine, which, that's a fair amount of money, but that's not, it's something, but for 1.5 trillion, we could just stop these pharmaceutical companies from doing this. We could stop it. And again, going back to, if we gave everybody free college, like they do in large portions of the world, people always go, oh, you want everything free. It's not free. No. Well, they pay higher taxes in Europe. Yes. And they actually get stuff for it. We pay taxes here, and we get the F-35 that nobody needs.
They get a lot out of their society for those taxes. I know this just busts the brain ball to think about, but
yeah, it's like Americans are like, I'm not paying that. Yeah, because you don't get anything for it. I would actually gladly pay more taxes if we had free healthcare and we had free college. Because you know what free college is? I don't have any kids of my own. I got 6 nieces and nephews, but free college actually makes for a better society. You know what we'll have? Lower crime rate. That, just from a selfish standpoint, you could want to pay higher taxes for free college so that you're not at as much risk for crime.
Lower crime rate, smarter society, happier people, healthier people, all of those things come along with education. Not to mention, if you really wanted to just think about the moral idea that we should allow people to actually follow their passions and do what they want with their life rather than being fucking feudal serfs to a debt system. So there is that kind of moral, understanding of humanity, but who would ever discuss that? Fuck that shit.
Yeah, we can't get into that. We need a new F-35.
The other brilliant thing they did with the F-35 to make sure Congress would never stop it is that various parts, there's 100,000 parts to the F-35. Various parts are made in 48 states. So almost every congressperson has a reason to keep the gravy train going.
Of course. And the reason the corporate media isn't screaming from the mountaintops at how much of a waste of money this is, and the corporate media will never say any of the things we've just said. This money could be spent on stopping the opioid epidemic, education, whatever. Because Lockheed Martin and these companies, Raytheon, they buy ad time, and they're not buying. Lockheed Martin isn't buying ad time on MSNBC and Fox News because there's couples at home going, honey, the new F-35s are in. Let's buy it. They're doing it to buy favorable coverage.
Right. Well, I think they might sell like a key ring or something that you squeeze and it makes a noise. So maybe they're trying to get people to buy that, I guess.
I would, yeah.
We sell F-35s and novelty key rings are the two things Lockheed Martin sells. General Dynamics.
Yes.
We sell a laser that can put a hole through a man's trachea from 2 states away, and we sell a beer can opener that howls like a dog when you use it. Those are the 2 things.
The gifts. Oh, the Tomahawk missile, which blows people up at the cost of funding a public school. And one of those salmon that sings and talks on the wall. You know what I mean?
Billy the Bass.
Yeah, Billy the Bass.
Not a salmon. Get your shit together, Graham. It was a bass.
I gotta do more research on novelty gift items. It's my fault. I've really let this. That's hurting this show. That's why we're on our 3rd episode 48.
All this time, people thought you were American, and now they realize you don't know the name of Billy the Bass. And I mean, it's just all unraveling. Graham's in a bunker in like Lithuania or something. That's the reality.
Yep. Just setting the American flag on fire because I don't know who Billy the Bass is. Basically, is what I'm doing. But one of the reasons I don't know who Billy the Bass is because we've spent more money on good programs like the Strategic Defense Initiative, $100 to $150 billion. This was announced just after Ronald Reagan's Evil Empire speech. This is his Star Wars plan. So this was, we needed the first guy to start saying, we need, nukes in space. So Trump, who took Make America Great Again, that was a Reagan catchphrase, and Space Force are two just Trump watered down, rehashed versions of bad Reagan policy. The Strategic Defense Initiative was meant to be a space-based system of lasers and satellites that would shoot down any Russian, intercontinental, and submarine-launched nuclear missile headed towards the United States. So rather than broker peace, let's get a $150 billion laser that shoots. So should they launch them, we can blow them out of the sky. And I remember this as a kid. And it was like, we'll get most of them. It was like, you know what happened? You idiots know what happened if just one is detonated, you fucking psychos. It's like, I don't even know what the comparison is for the annihilation of the planet Earth. Like, we'll get most, like 85 to 90% of them will go. So like, if just one lands, it's over, right? Like,
yeah, I mean, you're in a nuclear winter no matter what. It's like nothing will grow anymore.
Yeah, it's over. Within a matter of years, all life will be extinguished. Except for Jeff Bezos, who's going to fly his cock rocket out to Elon Musk's space cabana or whatever these idiots are concocting. So what it became was a black hole of theoretical research, pop culture ridicule, political tension, and spent money. A staggering amount of money. Estimates on the cost of SDI research and development start at $100 billion and run as high as $150 billion. God, they all pale in comparison to the F-35 is really the gold standard of military waste.
And we're still doing this, by the way. They announced recently that they're under Biden that they're spending $100 billion to rejuvenate our nuclear weapons and create new ones and things like that. And it's hilarious because the number of nukes we already have, whatever it is, 5,000 or 6,000, is already enough to destroy the planet Earth like 100 times over, 500 times over, whatever the fuck. So it's not like you need, we need better ones. We need new ones. We need cooler ones. We need, like, they're just throwing hundreds of billions of dollars at completely redundant, meaningless nuclear weapons. Because, I do understand one side of it. Like, you might destroy the planet Earth. And what if you're still angry and you want to shoot a few more, like you want to have those extras around.
Absolutely. And I mean, it's great to see like how hard Joe Biden is being pulled to the left. I mean, it's really, we're just yanking. I mean, every day we're just yanking him. Like we pulled him to the left and then he, of course, bombed Somalia. We've pulled him to the left and he's bombed Syria twice. We've pulled him to the left. He's spending more money on ICE than Trump did. He's outspending Trump on ICE. Oh man, this left pulling has got me tired, Lee.
It is. It's exhausting. I mean, how well we're doing. He's spending more on hiring cops than Trump did. The AP also reported that right now he's at a pace to beat Trump in terms of new oil permits new drilling permits that are being approved. So, he is just a left-wing maniac.
Oh, I'm so tired of his lefty hippie socialism. It's insane. I'm glad to see those socialist Democrats in the Senate gave him $25 billion in more war. That's great. And rents are higher. The national eviction moratorium is ending. So
He did renew diplomatic relations with Iran and Cuba. So that's sorry, I read the wrong memo. I'm sorry. That did not happen.
No, that's right. It didn't happen.
But he did carry through with Trump's plan for peace with North Korea. I keep getting the wrong fucking notes. That didn't happen either.
What are you reading? Just
I don't.
Some sort of Trotsky book? What are you reading? Yep. And but he is, this is a good point though. He is definitely keeping Israel in check and preventing them from really continuing the genocide and apartheid in Palestine.
Yeah. If I had a nickel for every speech he gave chastising Israel, oh man, I would not have a nickel.
You would be in debt.
Yeah.
You would have borrowed too many nickels. So there's that. That was the let's see. So all for a system that was dependent on technology that was never developed past the theoretical stage. So we spent $150 billion on theory that was never actually, we never even put the thing in space.
Wow.
We didn't even get something. We don't even have this laser Star Wars plan. We just bought $150 billion.
I think we spent $150 billion on just saying that in public so that Americans would think that they were going to survive if some shit went down, which they weren't. And B, that maybe the Russians would believe we had it and therefore would have to calculate that in their nuclear game plan. But so basically it was $150 billion on just an idea that never ever did anything.
Never did anything. And as we covered on this show, when you talked about, I forget when, but how we didn't need to drop the atomic bomb in Hiroshima and Nagasaki, how the Japanese were ready to surrender and we could have just let them surrender. And instead we dropped the bomb to show everybody we could do this. So we helped create the nuclear arms race. We actually made it happen. We did it.
Yes, indeed.
Cue the nice guitar music.
Yeah, if only we knew where that played from, so we could play it again.
Boom, boom, boom. It's a neighborly day, and your atom bomb would bomb the people for no good reason. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Well,
watch out! Watch out for that mine! Watch out for that mine!
Oh, but the thing I love about this show is we go into the history. So we not just. Crazy military spending didn't just start with our friend Ron Reagan. One of the most troubled and controversial programs in Air Force history, the B-1, was first developed in the early 70s as a replacement for the aging B-52. It was canceled in 1977 after 4 prototypes were made. Then it was revived by President Reagan. Yay! There's our boy. And development on it continued to the point where 100 were built, despite numerous problems with the plane's design and operation. The planes didn't see combat in the Gulf War due to engine issues and didn't drop a bomb in action until 1998.
during the Gulf War, the pilot's like, hold on, wait for me, and he's pulling that little string attached to the engine. Come on,
and they're just like, get those things in the air. We just need to know that they're up there. But it wasn't used until 1998, which is when Bill Clinton, I think this is when he bombed some poor village or whatever.
Yeah.
Like
whatever the fuck he was bombing.
Whatever that idiot parasite Epstein buddy was doing. The planes have proved useful, but hugely expensive at over $250 million per plane. So this one, we spent a bunch of money. So we spent probably $100 billion. If there's 100 built, it was close to, I don't know what the exact number is, but I don't know why this article is saying the planes proved useful. How? For what? What were they useful for? Just more.
Graham, don't sell us short. I'm sure we killed a lot of lovely innocent civilians.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. All for the name of freedom. You know, as we read all the numbers on this and all the hundreds of billions and trillions, literally trillions of dollars. Gee, I wonder what the country and the world would look like if we spent all this money in the last, well, we're talking about since the 70s, the last 40 some years on technology to reverse climate change. Like, what would the world look like? What would we'd all just be like? We would literally be sitting here going, guys our age would be like, God, you remember gas cars? And now we all drive just whatever cars that run on vegetable oil or fusion or some clean thing.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I've been doing segments on Redacted recently of how the solutions to most of our problems already exist. Right. The problem is corporations have the whole system on lockdown, and so they don't want to allow them to actually grow. I mean, hydroponic farming could solve tons of our problems. That doesn't mean you couldn't have your little garden or small local farms, but it could solve a lot of the massive food shortages. We throw out 40% of all food. In terms of droughts and clean water, there are ways of recycling water that we're not using. Namibia gets 75% of their water recycled. They're the only country that does. And so it's like the solutions are out there.
Say the country again. What country does this again?
Namibia.
Where's that?
Africa.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
And so it's like the solutions are out there, but you'd have to have a large scale system like a government decide that they're going to put a lot of money into just making them happen. And instead they're ignored. They're not covered in the media. Instead we just keep driving off this fucking cliff going, no, we have to spend billions of dollars on aircraft carriers and planes and giant diesel trucks. And it's amazing.
That's what's so frustrating is like you say, it's there. There's so much stuff has already been developed. I've covered it on my show. I'm sure you've covered it on your show that like, if we just put real money behind it, like, I don't know, $150 billion behind it, gee, maybe we could have it. Like there's algae that absorbs CO2 that, all that stuff. We could get behind all of that, and it would provide all of these jobs in America, and we could export all of these technologies around the world. We could literally go, hey, India, we're going to end your pollution problem. America's going to come in and end it. We could do that. Instead, we've got people that are just like Trump driving by in a pickup truck at a Medicare for All rally or whatever. Just like, it's mind numbing how much money has been wasted by the ruling elites and the military industrial complex that could be like these fucking dumb cocksuckers could have all.
But it's not just dumb. They're all bought. I mean, any one of them, if they were to have the slightest hint of a soul and start to stand up against this system and stand up against these corporations that are enriching themselves from it, then they're fucking taken out. I mean, they're taken out in elections. They're taken out with, scandals, fake scandals. They're taken out in a myriad of ways. Eventually, maybe they're shot if they become threatening enough. But they just don't stay there. I mean, I interviewed Dennis Kucinich today for Redacted, and he was, when he was mayor of Cleveland, he went up against the big power, ironically, the big electric companies, and literally a bullet missed his head by inches. They had other assassination attempts on him that were thwarted. Like, they were going to take him out for going up against electric companies.
In Cleveland, a mayor,
Yeah.
like a mayor, just one guy, one city. Like it's what's also frustrating is their greed and their short-sightedness. You know, they could all be making a lot of money on all of these green solutions. You know, if they, you know what I mean? They could still, these big corporations could be like, well, we're going to just profit off of, you know, green energy or whatever. And they could do that. They could be making their profits still, but they're so, it's a psychosis. Like, I don't know what it is. Like they're so hell-bent and they don't see the destruction of the planet coming, or maybe they don't care. Maybe they're just, I don't know, devil worshipers or some shit. They just want to kill us. I don't know what, I have no real reasonable explanation as to why.
Because it's short-term greed. You're talking about long-term greed, where they say, let's switch over to green energy, and in 5 years, 10 years, we'll be incredibly profitable and that kind of, but they're all looking to 6 months down the road. And 6 months down the road is keep doing the same things you're doing. Doesn't matter what's doing to the environment. You know, switching to an entirely new industry and changing the way things are fueled is a mass undertaking that, yes, could still make them a lot of money, but we're talking 10, 20 years down the road, which they don't think that way. It's short-term greed. And politicians make short-term promises, and the ones they plan on maybe keeping are short-term promises. They're long-term promises. They don't give a fuck. Like when they say, hey, we'll be carbon neutral by 2050, that's because they know they won't fucking be in office in 2050. They don't give a shit. So it's like laughable when they do the long-term. So everything's just 6 months, year down the road. There is no planning beyond that. And that's how capitalism works.
Right? What a great system.
And that was my punchline.
Like, hit the like button, ladies and gentlemen. There's a couple more boondoggly military expenditures. Whenever you want to jump over to your subject, because this list is long.
Let's do a few more.
Let's do it.
Then we'll jump over.
All right. Here's one. The MX missile, $25 billion for the MX missile. A 1970s nuclear deterrent, the LGM-118 or MX missile, as the program was usually called, was a land-based ICBM, intercontinental ballistic missile, that could carry up to 10 re-entry vehicles, each armed with a 300 kiloton 487 warhead. It could deliver a devastating strike to the Soviet Union that could essentially win a nuclear war in one blow. You can't win this war, dummies. It's like two ships saying, we're going to win the sinking boat contest. The program was canceled and restarted several times due to issues with the housing the missiles before President Reagan, yay, he's back, approved the deployment in hardened silos. The program suffered massive delays and cost overruns, and the missiles themselves, and these guys are the same guys that are like, oh, the post office is so mismanaged. Really? You had one letter out of 1,000 is lost or just takes longer, but you're spending monies on bombs that carry bombs that bomb things that are bombing, and they weren't even done correctly.
Well, yeah, and in terms of mismanaged, I know we've covered this on previous episodes, but we've talked about how the Pentagon has never successfully been audited. It's supposed to be audited, but they just come forward and say, we failed our audit. No one knows where the money's going. And the earlier reports were $21 trillion of unaccounted for adjustments. More recent reports say $35 trillion of unaccounted for adjustments. Sure, not every one of those is just like money going missing, but a lot of it is. There was $13 billion of printed cash that went missing in Iraq, like flown over in jets, just disappearing. So the amount of mismanagement and waste and loss is just incredible.
Oh God. I mean, there was I remember there was a pallet, one pallet of $900 million that went missing. Like,
yep.
Oh, so we spent
There's just some guy hooking his. They land in Iraq. Some guy's like, "Yeah, I'm supposed to take that. I
got this.
You just have like a regular truck. That's not military. Yeah, Carl sent me. I'm gonna hook it up. My paperwork. I'll bring it to you tomorrow. My paperwork.
Yeah, he just holds up some sort of like yellow carbon copy. I got the slip right here, so I'll just send it over to command. We're good. I don't want to hassle you guys.
It's in Arabic. You wouldn't be able to read it, but you just take that, and I'll be back tomorrow to sort all this stuff out.
Yeah, big snafu from Central Command. I'll get it fixed. I'll just take the money off your hand. We'll store it. You'll be fine.
Then they hear the tires squeal away, and then they're like, "Do you think he's coming back? Right? He'll come back."
And just this guy laughing as he drives away like Smokey and the Bandit. This rocket ended up costing $25 billion to make just 114 missiles. The last they were taken out of service in 2003, and the Cold War they meant to win lasted a few years after they were deployed. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic.
Does this have the missile defense shield on there? I mean, I know you kind of talked about one of them, but they remember for years. This was even in like when I was aware enough to remember it. So it must have been Clinton and stuff. They were still talking about we're going to make the missile defense shield. At any minute, we're going to have a missile defense shield.
No, this one isn't in there. But I don't know. I remember the missile defense shield, but maybe that was part of the Star Wars one. But no, was that Clinton?
Yeah.
I forget. There's so many wastes. I just keep forgetting. And then they've got some other countries' wastes, but we're, of course, America's number one in these categories, as well we should be. We're the best at wasting money for bullshit. So yeah, that's just some of the highlights of America's great. So anytime you like, I want you to think about I want the audience, especially when you're talking to anybody that's like, well, we need military spend. And anytime you have any family members, friends, coworkers, anytime they complain about something not working, a road, some government facility, some social service, their schools for their kids, always remind them how much money we spend on the military. Always remind them of that. And just get that narrative out there, because they've done such an effective job at propagandizing everybody into thinking we need this money. And there's always some boogeyman. There's always some new threat, the terrorists, the ISIS, the Taliban, Assad, whatever, whoever is it in China, Russia, whatever it is now, there's always a new boogeyman that we need to spend all this money on. Tell them we could cut our military budget in half and still spend more than Russia and China. Like, it's fine. And the reason we don't have nice things is because we waste them on this nonsense.
On death and destruction and killing.
It's a neighborly day in the death and destruction and killing. We're dropping bombs and murdering people and ruining lives. That's what we do. That's why we're America.
Oh, I think you really missed your calling, Graham.
We should try to make the set for the show on September 18th in Los Angeles. Tickets available at GrahamElwood.com. We should have like a couch and plants and make it real homey looking.
It should be real homey, and you should record a version of that just plays before we walk out.
Okay.
Like a professional version of your Mr. Rogers song.
I'll put pen to paper and I'll write this out and then I'll just record that. And I'll play and get some music. Ding 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 ding. Yeah, that's what we'll do.
We'll be sued by Mr. Rogers' widow.
Yeah, I'll get a version of it. So that Wilhelmina Rogers,
Mr. McFeely is gonna fucking sue us.
I don't want Handyman Negri coming by with a summons. You know what I mean? Like Lady Elaine Fairchild bringing her law firm to come get us. Meow, 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 lawsuit. Meow, 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 meow.
A cat is delivering a summons. Meow, 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 meow.
Meow meow. Notice to appear. Meow 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 meow. All right, Lee Camp. What's your government secret second segment?
All right. Figured I'd stick with the topic of pandemics. I'm not sure if many people have heard. There's one that's kind of been going on for a bit.
Oh, here or just
mainly my neighborhood. Yeah, mainly around me. So of course I'll give this as the background, but this is not. My secret is not about the Chinese lab leak theory, but back during Trump, Trump made that up out of his racist mind. Hey, it was China. China did it. Lab leak theory. China did it. And all of our mainstream media said, that's ridiculous. What a fucking racist twat bag. It's not China. That's so insane. And then Biden gets into office and they go, oh, yeah, we're still like in this new Cold War with China. Yeah, China lab leak theory. It's probably good. It's probably a good idea. Yeah. Trump was really onto something there. So now a lot of the media is doing that, even though there's still no evidence of any kind of China lab leak. And there is evidence that coronavirus was circulating in like Europe before we started talking about it. So let's go back to the pandemic before that, which was the Spanish flu, right? 1918.
Yeah.
1918. It killed a lot of people. Hold on, let me see if I can find the slide. I have our slide.
Is that it?
There we go.
There it is. Slide.
So this is from Scheer Post. Robert Scheer interviewed John Barry, who wrote the book, which was from 2004, called The Great Influenza: The Story of the Deadliest Pandemic in History. And I think you can pull down the slide now. But so back in 1918, Woodrow Wilson, basically they started seeing hints of this, that there was a flu, but he knew, and a pretty deadly one. Ultimately, it led to the death of between 50 and 100 million people, which is more. So we were going into World War I, right? And that cost of the flu will ultimately be far more than the cost of the World War. But Woodrow Wilson thought, it's not going to be so good for us to be talking about a flu or for people to be scared about a flu right now. I'm trying to promote this war. I want everybody to go fight in it and be willing to die and shit. So let's not make a big deal out of this. And they ultimately called it the Spanish flu because Spain, which apparently had a slightly more free press back then and was neutral in World War I, started talking about how there was a flu that was raging and killing a lot of people. And so basically Spain was the first one to report on it. So then eventually, the Spanish reports became too much to ignore, and the U.S. had to start talking about it, and Europe had to start talking about it. And they just said, oh, it's a Spanish flu. It started in Spain because they were talking about it. When in fact, it was just Spain that was reporting on it. And there's a great deal of evidence that shows that it's fairly likely it started in Kansas.
What?
The Spanish flu started in Kansas and was apparently raging on a military base there. And the U.S. basically expedited the spread of this global, pandemic, this flu, by knowingly shipping sick military and infected military over to European countries to fight in World War I. And so the U.S. was just like straight up shipping the flu to Europe without admitting it, without reporting on it. And ultimately killing like 100 million people. And if they had been honest about what was happening and dealt with it like a pandemic and maybe even didn't have a war, they probably could have saved 50 million lives or something.
I can't even put that into words of like every week you think America can't get worse. Like every week. And again, how did the flu really spread? Because of the American war machine, this war that no one wanted to get into, that they called the Wall Street War.
Yeah.
People were like, it was called Wall Street's War. And Woodrow Wilson hired, and I'm blanking on the guy's name, George Creel, to create the Creel Commission to basically market the war to Americans. And the movie industry was brand new. So they started this like, in the movies, the evil Kaiser, and they wrote that song Over There. That was all marketing. They marketed it on radio and
right. And that was also kind of the beginning of figuring out really how to manipulate people with marketing, because that's when Edward Bernays was doing his thing and figuring out, how to tap into people's emotions, whether they realized it or not. Rather than just before that time, most ads were like, buy this soda because you'll like it. Like right. there was less understanding of how to manipulate people. And so Bernays led the onslaught of manipulation through marketing.
Yeah. And they then turned America by and large did not want to get involved in this war. And they marketed it correctly to get Americans to go, we got to go over there, and glamorize it. And it was for Wall Street. And Woodrow Wilson helped push it. And so he needed to get young American men over there to fight and die. And of course, then in so doing, shipped the Spanish flu around the world. Wow.
Yeah, we've exported and named it the Spanish flu to get people off the scent. Where it came from.
The American military Kansas flu is what it should be called.
Yeah.
So basically, that flu was just another horrifying export. Like it was the original McDonald's.
Yeah, we're doing with diabetes what we originally did with the Spanish flu. Yeah.
We're shipping obesity and diabetes around the world for McDonald's, everybody. And
let's remember Woodrow Wilson inducted into the Klan in a White House ceremony. So not the best of gentlemen, I'd say.
Yes, we have covered that on the show. So many secrets keep on. That's funny because the show, as we unfold the secret, it usually dovetails into another one we've already uncovered, thus proving that this show will never end. We'll never have an ending to the show.
It'll never end, and also proving that this is the most important show to ever be made, I'd say.
Ever. There's nothing else I've been involved in that is more significant than this show in terms of waking people the fuck up.
Second maybe to Bob Ross, but it's close. It's close.
Bob Ross. We're going to just paint a little Kansas flu in there. That little Kansas flu. We're going to ship out on a Wall Street war. Just a little Wall Street war shipped out a Kansas flu.
And if people want to learn more about that story, there is John Barry's book, The Great Influenza, the story of the deadliest pandemic in history. And there's also the interview that Bob Scheer did with Barry at Scheer Post.
Oh, all right. Yeah, someone put in the chat, happy little bioweapon. Here's a little bioweapon shipped out by.
And we'll just add it with a couple of birds falling from the sky. Just a couple of little birdies falling from the sky.
Oh, this is where we first invented mustard gas, a horrible thing. Trench warfare, really awful, which will easily spread a flu. There you go. A little spread the flu in trench warfare. Yeah, my grandfather fought. Well, he was a soldier in World War I, and luckily, as the story's been told throughout my family, he became friends with like a colonel or a general or something like that. And the general liked him so much that he kept him behind the lines in like either London And I think he was in London or Paris or something like that, working behind the lines. Otherwise, he would have been in the trenches and probably would have died, and I wouldn't be here.
Wow. So he took a liking to him and kept him out of harm's way.
Yep. He lied about his age. He was like 16 or 17 and lied to join the service about his age because he wanted to go over there. And then he was in, he was primarily, he was in England most of the time, I believe. And then there's he wrote letters back to my, his mother, my great grandmother. And, he visited his family through, went to Ireland and where his family came from and kissed the Blarney Stone and all this. I think this is way before the Irish would piss on it. So American tourists would piss rock. And then he wrote these letters back to my great grandmother saying how, the war will be over. We got Fritz on the run. They called the Germans Fritz. So that's my family's history in World War I. Now we know it never should have happened. So there we go.
Never should have been fought. That's for fucking sure.
Never should have been fought. Are there any wars that aren't complete bullshit? I mean, I guess what Hitler was bad. I'm glad we did that. We stopped the Nazis, and putting human beings in ovens is pretty horrible.
I'm glad we stopped the Nazis, but there's a few things about that. One is we probably could have stopped him far earlier if we'd given a shit to stop him far earlier. But instead, for the most part, we were like, what's it matter? Let him do his thing. And then also, you notice when we did join the war, we didn't bomb the rail lines, stopping them from delivering people to the fucking gas chambers, did we? Yeah. We allowed that to go on.
Yeah, that was good stuff. America, once again, is sort of, even when we're the good guy, kind of not, sort of the good guy enough, helping a lot of people. And American, wars are horrifying. They're just horrifying. Anyone who's
they're all so fucking stupid. I mean, it's all the poor or sometimes the middle class, but really the poor fighting and dying for the rich. I mean, it always is. And on top of that, you lay on top of it the garbage of toxic nationalism, the borders that don't even make any sense. Like, what the fuck are we doing? It's all just idiot ideas.
Yeah. And it's awful. And war just dehumanizes everybody. I mean, there's all these stories of American, there's American GIs that did wonderful things and fought and all this, but there's also American GIs that did fucking gang rapes in Okinawa and in Europe and just horrifying shit. Just horrifying.
Absolutely.
It's god awful. And it's because war is awful. War is awful. It dehumanizes everybody. It dehumanizes people who are in it, who are committing these awful acts. And obviously the people that the acts are being committed against. It's
and the shit that went on in, like, for example, Vietnam, where it was really the whole goal was just to see how many you could kill, how many Viet Cong you could kill, because there was no real territory that was being held. It was just, let's go battle. We'll see how many we can kill, and then we'll back off. We'll give them the territory again, and we'll do it all over again. It was, it was so fucking disgusting. But how many of the U.S. soldiers believed the propaganda, thought they were really fighting for something just, thought they were doing the moral thing, and then how many of them knew it was fucked up, but were massacring children anyway? It's like, who knows where to draw that line?
Yeah. Yeah. So there's a little all wars are bullshit brown. We're going to paint in there. Little all wars are bullshit brown. Little wars are for the rich. There we go. Little wars for the rich there.
That'd be an amazing. I bet you now with our special effects nowadays, you could do that. You could have like Bob Ross painting, but the painting slowly becomes like a Banksy. And then you could probably have someone doing a Bob Ross impersonation, like, for the voice. So it could really look like Bob Ross was painting like some awesome Banksy anti-war painting.
Oh, I'm so down with that. Banksy's my hero. When I found out that guy just took discarded, jeans that were made with faults in them or whatever, you know what I mean? The stitching was off, and then he sold them as unique, and dummies in Hollywood paid hundreds of dollars for this. I was like, he's my hero. That he
Dude,
did that.
it's so much. I mean, I think it is. Most people believe it's a small community more than just one guy, but whatever. But he's done so much amazing shit, like anti-monarchy stuff, anti-war stuff, anti-capitalism stuff. It's just awesome imagery. And then the thing, I mean, unfortunately, it kind of backfired. But do you remember the one where he auctioned one? They auctioned one of his works at the Sotheby's for like whatever, $100,000 or something. And then the moment it was sold, the frame of the painting was actually a shredder, and so it started shredding it the moment it was sold. And it like shredded half of it and then got stuck halfway down. And in a way, everyone was like, holy shit, it just ruined it. But then it just became worth more.
Wow, that's so great. He's just like, man, people are suckers. And oh, that's beautiful. Oh, that's so beautiful. Well, hit the like button, everybody. Share this out on your social media and tell people how much you want to watch it. Wow, I'm having a real hard time with sentences today.
Something got stuck up there.
Something got stuck up there. Yeah, let everybody know how much you liked it. Share it on your social media. Hit the like button. Obviously, give it positive reviews in whatever platform you're listening to it, and spread the word. It's really kind of awesome. This show is really spreading, and like the numbers are up. We were just talking a couple days ago. More people are watching and listening to it, and it's really cool. And so come to the live show in Los Angeles, September 18th. Get your tickets at GrahamElwood.com. It's at Dynasty, or you can go to DynastyTypewriter.com and get the tickets September 18th. First ever Government Secrets live.
And there's a lot of pressure on you guys in LA to really sell that show out, because if it doesn't sell out, then we're never doing another live show. So you will be fucking over every other city, and that'll be on you.
That'll be on you, LA.
Yeah.
If you can't show up because you're like, oh, it doesn't have Patton Oswalt in it or whatever, then fucking suck it. So you better show up, because if there's like 26 people there, Lee and I are like, we're never doing this again. This will never happen.
Nope, never again.
Never again. So, and now if you sell it out, LA, now you're setting the table for more live shows.
No pressure though. No pressure.
No pressure at all. Just don't be like, oh, because if there's like 30 people there and it's like, oh, are you guys doing any shows in LA? And you tell me this in like October, I'm going to.
Oh, dude, that's the worst. When you've just played a city. I was playing Chapel Hill once. And after the show, I go next door with like 5 people to get like dinner. And the waiter walks up and is like, Lee Camp, are you going to perform around here or anything?
I'm just like, how are you claim to be a fan and then you don't follow anything that I do? I've been talking about this everywhere for months. Like, just like, I love that on social media. When are you coming to Denver? I literally was there Saturday. We just did a show Saturday. Where the fuck were you? Like, so yes, LA, it's all on you. The history and the future of Government Secrets on your shoulders.
Absolutely is.
If 20 people show up, we might cancel the whole podcast. We might just be like, nope, this is too embarrassing. I'm out.
Yep. Whole podcast done. That's it.
Yeah. I think we will shut it down.
Yeah, shut it down. Yep. But yeah, it is cool that it's growing. And for anybody who's new to the podcast here, please go back and listen to previous episodes, because pretty much everything we're talking about is evergreen. Unfortunately, our history is not going to change anytime soon. So please, go back and listen to the previous episodes.
Yeah, if you're new, it's kind of like it's really sort of a history podcast in a certain extent, because we've gone back into the early 1900s and maybe even late 1800s of American secrets.
We've done Columbus. So.
Yeah, that's right. We did Columbus. Jesus.
So we got into the 1400s.
Yeah, we've gone back to the inception of this country and how horrifying it was. And if you don't believe us, if you're like, read Columbus's own words. Read his journal and you'll see how horrifying this guy was. So check that out. Yeah, but this show is a lot of fun to do because it's
Uh-oh. He's stuck
I mean,
again, folks.
It kills my hope for humanity, but it is also fun to laugh with you. So it's really kind of
It's a twofer. Hope for humanity gets wiped away, but I get some chuckles. So,
I get to laugh. It puts me in a more like, instead of getting angry or bummed out, I just go, well, let's hope that everybody gets wiped out, and we'll laugh as we go. Or at least if there's an alien race watching this, just come down and take out the ruling class. Can you just do that and let us live in peace? Just take them out. They're awful. Every family, everyone who's in charge of every country, take them out. They're just fucking horrible. Every CEO, just take them out. Could you just do that?
The problem is, though, the empathy in me makes me say, like, if there's an alien race watching right now, run as far away as you can.
Well, they've already made that decision.
Don't get near it. Don't poke it.
They're just gonna not. They've been here. There's all this evidence. They've been coming here for years, and they're just like, nope. Like they're just like, they might just breeze in. It's like, oh, there's this really amazing food truck, but it's in a horrifying neighborhood. Like it's really dangerous, and they just like come in and like get the food and get out. Like I think that's what they do. They just come in and go, wow, there's some cool stuff here. Like look at their mountains and waves and stuff. But the people here are horrifying. Let's get out of here. And
they're just collecting some taquitos and running for it, huh?
Yeah, they really just got
yeah.
They just go, I don't know why their Costco is amazing, but the rest of this race is just a waste of space. But their Costco's I love Costco. And I think that's what they do. So
then they buy one multi-pack of baked beans that'll last them 40,000 years for the trip back.
That's it. That's it. They buy that and then like, 2 lawn chairs for $30 or whatever they get. And then that's what they go back with. And then they're just like, wow, that planet is nuts.
Wow. It's Smashing Pumpkins' entire canon on CD. And that's what they just grab that and they leave.
They're this advanced race, but they still have a CD player.
Yeah, they still CDs. It's still CDs. It's still CDs.
They're living like a multi-dimensional world. They can travel at light speed. They can, mask their ships so we can't see them. They can never get caught, but they still like put the CD in there. That's why I love this alien race. They still like the old school.
Yeah.
All right, Lee. Well, I don't know. Where can people see?
My stuff's at leecamp.com. That Dennis Kucinich interview will be out Thursday. New episode of Redacted tonight comes out Friday. And I have another podcast called Common Censored. But the big project is called radindiemedia.com. It features Graham stuff. It features Gray Zone, Abby Martin, Chris Hedges, Truth Out, all these great outlets, Mint Press. And it's just like imagine it as a digital newspaper, but of cool shit rather than garbage. So,
that's so cool. Have you had any like psycho indie left people email you mad because they're not in it or whatever? Have you had any of that nutbaggery yet?
I haven't had any mad yet. I've had some email me asked to be in it, which is fine.
Just wait till you say no to somebody, then someone's gonna go fucking lose their shit.
I've actually found, because here's the thing, it's not like Huffington Post steals clicks from other outlets by putting their shit on their page. Whereas all at Rad Indie Media, it all goes straight to your outlets. It goes straight to your videos. It goes straight to Mint Press. So it just gets, it is good for every outlet that's on there. It's not stealing anything.
And folks, just go to GrahamElwood.com because I've got the Anything Can Happen game show. And, tonight on Rockfin, my Rockfin premium members of Graham's Late Night Crypto Lounge every Monday at 8:00 Pacific time. If you're up late on the East Coast.
Tell me you're going to read some of that article from The Hill.
Oh, God, yeah. I'm all over that article. God, it's another one of these like, crypto's bad. What is it? Doesn't make sense. It's just written by the dumbest, like Bill Maher's uncle or some shit like that.
I only read the first 3 sentences, but just like the title was like, it's time to ban it from all of Earth.
Just doesn't.
Well, how dare people have a currency that I don't like?
That I don't what that article should say is, I don't understand this thing, so I'm going to say get rid of it because I'm too dumb to try to figure it out, is what it should say.
It'd be like me saying we must ban TikTok because I don't get it.
TikTok is bad for society. And I love it too, because literally Bitcoin just went over 40,000. Like it's been on this run coming back because they got it low. They manipulated it low. Everybody bought up. I bought it 30K. I bought it 32. I bought it 38. Ha, suck it.
It was like a coordinated attack where it was like all they were talking about. Yeah.
They wanted to shake out all the speculators, all the gamblers, the people who just were like, I heard this Bitcoin thing, I should invest in it, like 6 months ago. And they just bought it without knowing what it was. And then the price came down and they went, oh, I got to get out of here or whatever. Or they bought some at 20 grand. It went up to 60. And when it started dropping, they just sold. So they could say I made a profit and they didn't understand it. And then now all the big money has bought up this dip, this 2-3 month dip. They've been 2 month dip. Basically, they've been buying it up. That's all they've been doing. And now the price is going back up. I've been watching the volume on this. I watch this shit every day and I'm like, oh, the price is going to go up. And it is. It's it. So anyway, we're going to cover that tonight at Graham's Late Night Crypto Lodge. Go to GrahamElwood.com, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, man. I will see you soon.
All right, dude. Good to see you, man.
Later.